one. Go.
Hi everyone, thank you for coming today. We wanted to have a safety awareness minute today for our people, and I want to just focus for a minute on this particular slide. It is our poster of our values, but highlighted comes the 3 reasons why we need to really take care of our people and pay attention to safety. First, it's because we care about them, and it's the right thing to do. So I just wanted to bring up the fact that this Safety Awareness Minute is brought to you by our values and why we should be taking care of each other and why safety is so important to the company. So in that thought process, we wanted to talk to you about a couple of items to help you prevent cuts. Cuts have been on the rise this year so far. We've had several, so we want to make sure that everyone is aware of how to keep themselves safe and what tools you have. So the first thing I want to show you is the new red cut glove. You want to make sure that it fits you properly, which means it's going to be snug on your hand and you don't want any room up in the finger area, so that when you're cutting, you're making sure that it's not too taut here and it's nice and safe. You want to make sure that it fits properly, but you also want to make sure that there's no wear or tear on it. And if there is any type of distress on the glove, you want to make sure that you get to the service desk and you replace that glove.
Don't use it.
If the second they show, you want to get it up there. Now the lifespan on the glove, we're told, is about 6 months, but if you're someone who works in a veggie market or in prepared foods and you have it on every single day, it might only last you 4 months. So just keep a really good eye on your glove to make sure that you're safe while you're using a knife. And it's mandatory that whenever you handle the knife, you have to have the glove on. And a lot of times we forget that when we're going to get the knife, we're not thinking that we're using it, but it's whenever you handle a knife. And when I say knife, I would also like to include not only those big chef knives that we have over in prepared foods, or the serrated knives that we have over in the sub shop, but paring knives. So in the bakery, when we score bread, and in the sub shop, we score bread, we should be using a knife glove with that paring knife. Also in the sign shops, we should ensure that our sign shop people are having the glove on as well. They have an X-Acto knife, which has a blade, and they can hurt themselves, so we want to make sure that they're safe as well. Another glove that I like to show you today is the blue palm coated glove. It is dipped into a latex, and this will help if you're changing garbages, if you're changing light bulbs. It also helps to prevent from the wood skids giving you splinters. So it's a great tool to have. It fits really nice, and it gives you some dexterity, and when you're doing your load, you're taking the boxes off, it's got a grippy, so it'll help with that as well. But any odd jobs that you can think of, you can use this glove to help resist cuts or splinters or miscellaneous cuts that we get around the stores. Does anybody know what this is?
It opens bags.
It opens bags. It's called the Viper bag opener. You take the bag and you go like this. Whoa, didn't work. There you go. It's not a bag though, so for the example, we should have bags. It's also NSF certified, so they can use it in food prep departments, so it's food safe. They just have to make sure that they wash it. That's that. Everyone knows this, right?
Yes.
The S4 cutter.
What's it for?
What is the S4 cutter used for?
Cutting cardboard.
Cutting cardboard. That is really the only reason we would need to take the blade out to cut cardboard. Right on the tip here, if you can see it, I'll pause for a moment as we zoom. That is called a tape splitter, and I know that because it says right here, tape splitter. And you use it like this. You put your thumb on it, and then you cut the tape. Well, you're going to try that later. This is called a cutter holster. It's a very technical word. It's got this cute little pinchy thing, just like you have your cell phone, so that you can put it right on your belt loop. You find my belt loop, there you go. So I can carry it around with me, and it turns and does all kinds of flippy things. It's fun to have. But a lot of people don't have them, so if you see someone with a cutter in their pocket, make sure you get them a holster and you have that conversation with them.
Why do you gotta have a holster?
The best part of why you should have a holster is when your blade is out and you're cutting something, so my blade is out, and I put it back into my holster. Oh, wrong way. I knew I was doing that the wrong way. There you go. It will retract the blade. So that's the most important part, because if you have it out like that and you put it in your back pocket, you might cut yourself.
You will cut yourself.
I'm doing this backwards. That's why I'm like, why does that work? So that's very, very important why we should have a holster. And I know we have people that think, I've been doing this for 18 years, 20 years, 5 years, whatever, I'm not going to get hurt. Those are usually the people that unfortunately get hurt. So we need to get those people on our side as well. So there's another tool that we can use to cut tape and plastic, and it's called the yellow film tool. A key important part of this is that it's a disposable tool, so you want to make sure that you throw it away and get a new one every once in a while, because it does have a blade inside here, right here, and it will go dull. So it is disposable. We want to make sure that we're constantly replacing that. Otherwise, it will not do its job properly. It's very important. And also, there's another one of those handy dandy tape splitters right on the back of here. And again, I know that it's a tape splitter because it says it right on there, tape splitter. So, and this is not something that you can hurt yourself on, but it will, with enough force, go through the tape. So these are some tools that you can use to prevent cuts in your departments. So I have some boxes here. Who would like to try and show us an example of how the yellow film tool works? Ash.
Cutting them.
Nope, first you're going to cut the film off because it really works well on film. Look at that. Now with a S4 cutter, how many times have we seen someone go to cut with the S4 cutter and jab and jab and jab and jab, when easily you could just take the yellow film tool, get right through there, and slice it. No more jabbing, no more stabbing, none of that. Good fun stuff. All right, so we also have a tape splitter. If you would like to try using the tape, or you could use the tape splitter on this, because there's, you choose. Good job. Ta-da! Yay! Yellow film tool.
Sheila, don't they have things that you can like twist your belt with too?
We do have a little, what are they called? A little
Bungee,
retractable
is it? Oh.
bungee thing that will go on there, and you can use that as well. All right, we're almost done, but there is a couple more important things that we need to talk about. This is called dialing back to zero. Now, none of you work in the deli department, so I'm going to explain a little bit why this is so important. Obviously, we sell a ton of lunch meat. You walk by the deli counter, and there's always 15 people waiting in line for those ladies to serve, or those employees to service them, right? And I mean, that's a pretty stressful job. So sometimes when they're working so fast, they forget to dial their blade back to zero. So that's very important for our deli departments and for our sub shops that have the slicers in them, because this can be a dangerous piece of equipment. And sometimes when we work with dangerous pieces of equipment, we become complacent. But they're in such a fast-moving environment that too, you know, when you're moving so fast, you sometimes forget a step.
Well,
So
if you
we
dial
always-
it back to zero, what does that do? Why is that important?
Well, we dial it back to zero so that we close the blade. Because when you put your bologna on there and you're slicing and you want it thicker or thinner, they move the dial here to a thickness. But you dial it back to zero to close that blade, that makes it flush, and then it takes the potential to cut themselves out of there. So it's very important that when you're walking by the deli, you tell those people back there, yay for you, because you have dialed back to zero so that they don't hurt themselves. They actually now have a certification process, a safety slicer training that they have to go through before they're able to use a slicer. All right, I'm going to check my stuff. So we did all those. Good. All right, we have one more thing to do, and it's called, oops, I cut myself. So here is my employee accident. An employee states that she was opening the operating supplies. She was cutting the plastic wrap with a box cutter. She states her hand was resting on a box, and she cut through the plastic wrap next to the box and cut her left hand. What should she have done?
Yellow film cutter.
Yellow film cutter. But if she was using the green S4 cutter, which she was, what else could she have done?
She probably could have put a glove on her other hand.
She could have put a glove on her other hand. What else? Remember that fancy little thing on the green cutter?
Use the tape,
The tape
cutter on there.
splitter.
I don't think the tape splitter would work on shrink wrap though.
It's not real. Oh yeah, it is real. Why do you have to do that to me, Brian?
All right, we'll save that for the bloopers.
I did, but it was, but you were right.
Yes.
Very, very good.
Thank you.
But to cut tape, you still could use that. So, all right. Thank you, everyone.